So Netflix decided to cancel their live action Cowboy Bebop only a few weeks after its release. Normally, they take some time to actually, announce any cancellations of shows. And if this was going to get canceled, I wasn't expecting anything until maybe the summer of 2022. But this has only been a few weeks and they've already announced that it's canceled. At least that's what this article and many other articles say. Now, after which I finally got the time to sit down and watch the whole entire season. And after watching it, I understand why it was canceled. Now, there's gonna be some people who enjoyed this movie, and there's gonna be some people like me, or not the movie, but the TV show, and there's gonna be some people like me who just didn't care too much for it. But we'll see. But with that being said, I mean, if you look here, it has an overall bad critic score from both the audience and the actual critics. 45% on Rotten Tomato and 58% on by the audience and the people who have actually gone in and scored this. And it is so bad that even the Japanese market was making fun of this. Even the Japanese people who were making fun of this. And that's to say that I think this is one of the best animes ever made. And that's my personal opinion. You don't have to agree, but I think that this is one of the best animes ever made. And Netflix just completely ruined it. They had their shot and they missed it. They missed it. Now here's some of the comments that I thought were pretty good. First one, and this is the Japanese fan saying, it's because there was an old dude cosplaying. There was nothing appealing. And I'm assuming that this is gonna go towards the actor who played Spike, which I believe in the anime Spike's probably in his 20s, maybe possibly early 30s. But here the guy that they casted for it is in his 50s, which I'm not gonna say too much on that because age really doesn't matter when it comes to casting. Another one was Netflix original anime and dramas are not interesting. However, I do like Amazon Prime. And that should say a lot. That should say a lot. Japan anime isn't designed for live action adaptation, and that's true. Whenever it gets adapted by a Western market, it just doesn't do very well. It doesn't do very well. The directors, the writers, and everything, and the actors that are cast normally don't do very well. Which I think Alita Battle Angel, I think it's the only one that has done pretty well in the Western market, and everybody's liked. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, all I have to say is Netflix, you had one job, and you failed miserably. It was so bad that you even couldn't wait to cancel the show. I think this is one of the best animes ever done and was looking forward to watching it. I try to stay away from any negative press. I try to keep an open mind. I just didn't want my interpretation tainted. But after watching it, I should have just listened to what others were saying. There was so much hype built around this series, and you knew the fans were going to scrutinize. But instead of staying true to the anime, at least for the characters, you began gender swapping and rushing them and rushing through a profoundly emotional tale just to push a narrative. That even that narrative that you try to force was a miss, because I still don't know what it was. Was it, we will not have a half-naked fae because it demeans women, but still demean herself by constantly being horny, sleeping with a woman within minutes of meeting her, and take away the femme fatale qualities that make her dangerous just to have her scream incoherent lines for the hell of it, because hey, that's what a badass character does. Or what was the narrative? Woman empowerment? I mean, I'm all up for changing things up, and even I will admit that I did not see Julia's turn in the end, but she is made into a powerless woman dependent on a man. She has no agency, and in order to reach the top, she needs a man because apparently she's incapable. I know that she conspired to have Vicious killed, but there's nothing, and I mean nothing, that signified she wanted that type of power and that she garners in the end. I mean, she killed the love of her life, yet nothing throughout the show foreshadows the final plot twist. If it would have been indicated, or at the very least somewhat shown, instead of the damsel in distress, then it would have probably added to the story and would have give a different contrast. Or maybe I missed it, but then again, I can't sit through it. But honestly, Netflix's fate on Julia is much better than the anime, and I think it should have worked, but it was masked by some sort of narrative that just never finds its way. And while we're talking about characters, let's talk about Gren. I think Gren is one of the most important side characters in Cowboy Bebop, and I think he enhances the original story. And I haven't seen the original in a while, but from what I remember correctly, Gren is, I think, a close friend of Julia who goes through a body alteration because he was forced to take some experimental drugs while also being war buddies with Vicious, who then has a major confrontation in the original series. I may be wrong, but hey, let me know in the comments. Either way, this could have made for a great story arc, but what does Netflix do? They turn him into a non-binary, severely diluted side character that does nothing other than serve drinks, cast a few talents for the club, and only has a few lines of possible encouragement for Julia. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind that they changed Gren into a non-binary person and that they were cast by a non-binary person. And honestly, I think it was a good move, since in the original series, I believe Gren says that he is neither not man nor woman. But if you're going to go all out, then give this character something more to do. I don't know if Netflix was just holding this person back for season 2 and maybe there was going to be something bigger, but we'll never know. Maybe if the script writers and directors hadn't tried to rush through a story, then this actor could have had a more defining role and a chance to shine, which would have been, I'm guessing, a more defining moment for the LGBTQ representation in TV. But that's another miss, because to represent the community, I suppose you just dress them up in drag and give them nothing to do and then say, hey, that's the representation. If you want to amplify the LGBTQ community, then make us care about the character. Obviously, this story takes place in the future, so I'm assuming that at this point in life, it is more accepting. So you don't have to push the struggles of the community, and instead, the focus could just be on how do we make people like this character. I mean, I don't know, maybe change the story behind this character since it's already feeding into the struggles of the community while also giving them a vital role. But that's just me. Maybe I missed it. Anyway, let's also quickly talk about Ed, or the lack thereof. Now, I watch the trailers and I try to stay away from any spoilers. So I thought that because we saw Ein, we would also get Ed, which is another vital member of the Bebop team. But aside from a few references and that little minor role in the end, I was a little worried because I know Ed is eccentric, but y'all made her seem crazy, which, you know what, for that being said, I'm gonna stick to that, and I'm glad we didn't get more of Ed because the character would have just been ruined for me. And I'm not gonna keep talking about any other characters because other than Spike being called fearless and Vicious being made out to be nothing more than a spoiled little bitch, the only redeeming qualities this show had was this character who plays this actor who plays Jet Black, Mustafa, what's his name? Mustafa Shakir. He was one of the redeeming characters of the series. And although this version of Jet is given a dismal story, the way that Mustafa embodies the character of Jet Black, and the writers seem to have just spent a little more time on him because they gave him a relatable story and more fleshed out characteristics that you end up actually caring and rooting for this guy in the end. Also, Tamara Tooney, she's a seasoned actress, so whatever role she gets, I think she's gonna kill it, and I think she did a great job playing as Anna, I believe is who she had. The only reason I found the strength to finish watching this was because of these two characters, and I also liked the artistic anime style and direction of the show. To be completely honest, I didn't totally hate the show, but I also did not care whether I finished it or not. There was just nothing enticing for me to come back to after each episode. Maybe Netflix rushed the season to push a narrative that I just didn't understand, but I still hold by what I said before, which was that this show had to stand on its own. Unfortunately, Netflix tried to pander to today's small Western political hemisphere without understanding the anime audience. If they would have just probably spent a little more time on market research than I did on my video thumbnail, and its actors would have promoted the show instead of blaming the fans, and I mean you, Daniela Pineda, then the series could have learned how to crawl, but we will never know. So with that being said, I'll leave you with this.
Hey guys, so as you know, our Cowboy Bebop first look dropped today, which was so exciting. And I just wanted to address a couple of things that sort of keep coming up in the comments amongst fans. First, I wanted to apologize to the fans that I did not anatomically match the Faye Valentine character. 6 foot, double D size breast, 2-inch waist. You know, they looked everywhere for that woman and they couldn't find her. It's kind of weird. So they just went with my short ass. I know. Am I right? You know, there was talk about like, can we put Daniela in a time machine and maybe give her different parents so she has different genetic information to sort of make her look better? It proved to be too complicated. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was I want to apologize that the outfit I'm wearing is not exactly what she wears in the anime. You know, we tried, but doing stunts in tissue paper, things disappear, they rip. Sometimes it just got lost. Anyway, like I was saying, that original costume, they made a couple of them, but like I said, they got sort of slurped up in my various crevices, never to be retrieved again. So we needed to really build something that could withstand the test of time. So just, you know.
Just, you know. Yeah, so that was one of the, that was the actress that played Faye Valentine. But I'll leave it there. I'm not gonna go deep into this because this video's already long enough as it is. Anyway, so yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you later, Space Cowboy.